Respected dignitaries on the dais and members of the audience, a very good morning to all present here. I, Prachi Kushwaha, fourth year law student, welcome you here today to the Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer Memorial Lecture. Today we have with us as our chief guest Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court of India, who has taken time off his busy schedule to deliver his lecture for us. We welcome you, sir, and are honored that you could join us here today. I would also like to welcome Honorable Mr. Justice Bhavar Singh Sir, Director General, Delhi Metropolitan Education, Noida, and former Judge, Allahabad High Court, Professor Dr. Ravikant Swamy, Director DME, Professor Dr. Rajendra Kaur Randhawa Ma'am, Head, DME Law School, to the dais. To begin with the ceremony, light symbolizes knowledge. I request the dignitaries to light the lamp of knowledge and wisdom by taking the blessings of Goddess Saraswati.
शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं सन्ध्यादीपनमोऽस्तुते
Moving further, we are delighted to present to you a few glimpses of DME Law School. That is our reflection of the rich legacy, academic excellence, and the vibrant experiences which defines our institution. I request the IT management team to kindly play the video montage for us. welcome is never complete without warm words and warmer gestures. It is our honor to have with us Mr. Gaurav Bhatia sir here with us today. I request Honorable Mr. Justice Bhavar Singh sir to welcome sir with a planter. Now I request Director DME to welcome our chief guest and introduce him to the audience. Please sir.
It's a important day for DME today because we have a man on the dais who needs no introduction, isn't it? Sir, I overheard a student telling that you are as popular on the television as Kangana Ranaut. So, from AOR in the Supreme Court to senior advocate in the Supreme Court, that is Gaurav Bhatia sir's legal journey. As far as ideology is concerned, he has seen both the sides because he has traveled from socialism to nationalism. I'm not saying capitalism, sir. So, Samajwad, Rashtravad. Sir has seen both the sides, and therefore, he is the one who can truly tell us how things happen in this country. And as far as Damkham is concerned, sir, everyone knows here, sir has challenged no one less than the leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi. And the way he challenged, sir, the nation salutes you for that. Yes. And he also challenged the vice president. So when it comes to challenging, he chooses the people at the top. Sir, we welcome you, and I am very sure the students of DME Law School would be very happy to listen to you. I also take this opportunity to welcome our Director General, Sir, Justice Bhavar Singh, sir, whose contribution to this nation will go a long way, because it was Sir's pen, the three-member Ayodhya bench, of which Sir was a member. So it was Sir's pen which ordered the magnetic survey, which became the fulcrum of the decision of the Supreme Court. We welcome you, sir. Head of the law school, Dr. Randhawa, she is steering a school. Sir, as far as the introduction of our law school is concerned, in 2 sentences, I can say that we have 9 judges from this young law school. Our first batch of BBLLB graduated in 2019, but we have 9 judges from this law school. And yes, you name any law firm, our students are there. I am sure this program is going to be a great learning for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. No institution can run without the presence of a good leader, and we are grateful to have our Director General, Honorable Mr. Bhavar Singh, sir, with us. His Lordship was appointed in UP Judicial Services in 1970 and was promoted to Higher Judicial Services in 1979. He then presided over Special Court of CBI, Dehradun, and was elevated to Registrar, Allahabad High Court in 1992, where he served for about 3 years. Sir then graced the office of Registrar General, Supreme Court of India, and was elevated to the permanent judge of Allahabad High Court in 1999. He held office up to 2007. His Lordship was then appointed for 5 years as a President, UP State Consumer Commission. Thereafter, Sir adorned the office of Chairman, Judicial Training and Research Institute, UP, from 2012 to 2014, and joined DME as a Professor and Director General from 1st July 2014. I request Sir to please address the audience.
The chief guest of today's event, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, a senior advocate, and here only I will avail of this opportunity to congratulate him, because it's not very easy to get the designation of a senior advocate in the Supreme Court. I remember when I was the Registrar General of the Supreme Court, I got a recommendation of Salman Khurshid. Everybody knows that his name may be pushed. Since I was close to the Chief Justice as Registrar General, so I requested him that I got one recommendation that he may be designated as senior advocate. The answer was he can wait. Though he was fully eligible and a very competent lawyer. But the Chief Justice of India said that he's a good boy, but he can wait. And he waited for a long time. So I'm very much happy to know that Mr. Gaurav Bhatia has been designated recently as senior advocate. Resuming further, the director, Mr. Ravikant Swami, Dr. R. Randhava, the HOD, Law Faculty DME, and faculty members, dear students, with Priya, the convener. It's a matter of great pleasure for me to welcome Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, Additional Advocate General and Senior Advocate, to this event of Krishna Iyer Memorial Lecture. I have a long association with Mr. Gaurav Bhatia. His father, Reverend Mr. Birendra Bhatia, was a great friend of mine. He was the Advocate General for Government of UP and President of the Awadh Bar Association. Awadh is an old name of Lucknow. Not once but many a times. When he will walk into the corridors of the High Court, he had a fleet of juniors following him. One could, without seeing on that side, visualize that Mr. Birendra Bhatia is walking through the corridors of High Court. He was a learned advocate. I remember it was Mr. Birendra Bhatia who got many government welfare schemes floated for the welfare of lawyers, group insurance, and then financial help, chambers for them, not only in Awadh Bar Association, but elsewhere also in many districts. He was the champion for the cause of the advocates. And as a lawyer, he used to submit very erudite arguments before the courts. I remember many times I in the bench used to sit that perhaps today Mr. Bhatia may not get any relief from this court. But it was he who, with his very well woven arguments supported by judgments of the Supreme Court, Privy Council, he used to compel us to grant the relief. He was a man of stature, and I remember that had he not passed away early, perhaps I would not have left Lucknow. He was so close to me. Mr. Gaurav Bhatia is the worthy son of a worthy father. We can see him as averred by our director almost daily on one TV channel or the other, defeating his opponents. His arguments are very assertive, very affirmative, and you take any burning or current topic of the society, of the national importance, he is very well equipped. I am really impressed by his learnings, by his stature he has acquired in a very short span of time. As a guardian, I am glad with the success story of Mr. Bhatia. And I wish him a good luck for his bright future prospects. Friends, as you know, we in DME hold V.R. Krishna Iyer Memorial Lecture. As he was a great jurist, a successful lawyer, a commanding leader as Home Minister in Kerala State, a dominant political person, a statesman, then a High Court judge, then member of the Law Commission of India, and then a Supreme Court judge. He was a man of strong likes and dislikes, a great moralist. Once he refused to get some persons arrested who were not responsible for the riots, even though the Chief Minister himself spoke to him to get them arrested. He refused. He was not in favor of judges appointing judges, and he was the champion of the cause of, for the cause of poor, and opened the doors of the Supreme Court of India for the general public, outdating the law of locus standi. He favored the concept of PIL and delivered judgments like theses, which are now being utilized by the research scholars. Friends, he wrote 100 books and articles, and he lived a long life of 100 years. If you really wish to be an eminent lawyer or a good judge, read his philosophy laid in his books, particularly his autobiography. Friends, in the end, I once again welcome Mr. Gaurav Bhatia to this college, and I wish him that he reaches the zenith of his career. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspirational words. Today, we are honored to have with us our chief guest, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, sir, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court of India. To acquaint our audience with Sir, Sir completed his schooling at La Martiniere College, Lucknow, and pursued a law degree from Lucknow University. Furthering his education, he obtained an undergraduate degree from the University of Bridgeport in Connecticut, United States. Sir then commenced his legal practice in India. He served as a secretary of the Supreme Court Bar Association twice. He has held the position of Additional Advocate General for the state of Uttar Pradesh and is currently Senior Advocate, Supreme Court of India. As a prominent political figure, Sir frequently represents his party on national television, debates, and press conferences, articulating the party's stance on various issues. We are honored to have Sir here today. I request Sir to kindly deliver the lecture. Please, Sir.
A very good morning. In fact, I think it is good afternoon now to everyone on the dais, especially Honorable Justice Bhavar Singh Ji, who is not just a former judge of the Allahabad High Court I look up to, but I can tell you he's an inspiration for many advocates in Allahabad, in Lucknow, as well as in Delhi. Yes, his knowledge, his rectitude as a judge stands out. but I have known him since I was very young, and I can tell you what stands out the most is the part that he is an outstanding human being, his humility. And to that, I would say, it is in fact an honor to be sharing dais with somebody that you have looked up to all your life. Dr. Ravikant Swami ji, director of the esteemed Delhi Metropolitan Education Institute. And while I was coming here, we were having a chat about the vibrant students that I see here, many of them smiling, many of them also intrigued, looking at the future, what we would be discussing today. And I felt proud when he said that though we impart education and other subjects also, but this institute is known more for the law college that we have, and that itself shows how the journey in our country also for a law college and a law student has changed. Because I remember during my father's days, Shri Virendra Bhatia ji, he's no more. He was the Advocate General of the state, as mentioned by Justice Bhavar Singh ji, President of the Bar. Choosing law as a subject to study used to be not by choice, but by compulsion. लड़का क्या करेगा? कुछ भी नहीं करने को है, तो ये law करेगा. अब the youth have realized the potential and the power that you have as a lawyer to know your rights, to know the rights of every citizen, and therefore, from a profession of compulsion, it has become a profession of choice. And that, I think, is a very welcome step. I congratulate you, Dr. Ravikant ji, for instilling these values in the future lawyers of the country. And I learned from my father, which I'll share with you today. I'm not here as a chief guest, nor are you sitting here as students pursuing law. He taught me the black coat is a family. So we are part of one family, and I feel I've come to my family to share my views and also hear from all of you in terms of questions and queries that you have. Last but not the least, I represent the Bharatiya Janata Party. I'm proud of my leader, Shri Narendra Modi ji. He's always spoken about women empowerment. And on the dais we have Dr. Rajinder Kaur ji representing that women power. And with a lot of pride, I would say, जो असंभव को संभव कर दे, उस व्यक्ति का नाम श्री नरेंद्र मोदी है. And why do I say that? I must tell you. Everybody spoke about affirmative action and women reservation. Everyone thought that it is an impossible task. And then came the historic day, the first bill that was tabled in the new building, the temple of our democracy, was the Women Reservation Bill. It was a constitutional amendment, and you are aware that unlike the simple bill that has to be passed with only a simple majority, this requires more. 2/3 that are present and voting, and that number was there because India is heading in the right direction, and every citizen is aware that for India to become a developed nation, it is important that 50% of the population that we have, the women of the country, they need to be empowered. So for all the young, sharp women who are sitting here to become the destiny of our country, I would say it's a very good beginning. Having said that, when I was reflecting upon the ideas that I would share with you, yesterday was a sad day for every Indian. Sad day because we all know how in Pahalgam there has been a terrorist attack. We have lost our brethren. And when we started the function, we were lighting the lamp. If you look at it symbolically, lighting of the lamp is done because one flame is enough to ensure that other flames are lit. Knowledge is spread. Perseverance carries through. And I believe as a country, somebody can definitely indulge into a terrorist activity, taking away lives of our brethren, but nobody can take away the spirit of our country, Bharat, India. And I must also say very responsibly first, that these people who indulge in terrorism, who think that they can prevail upon our spirit, will never be successful. And they will be taught such a serious lesson that they will never be able to even think about repeating such an act again. That is very important. Now coming to today's topic, it has been named Justice Krishna Iyer Lecture. I was just thinking, Justice Krishna Iyer has been an epitome of how a judge should be. And the beautiful part is, he's also been an epitome of how there is a confluence between law and politics. We all know there have been freedom fighters who were lawyers. Mahatma Gandhi ji, Sardar Patel ji, to which I'll be coming later also. But Justice Krishna Iyer had his life designed the other way around. And why do I say that? As a lawyer, he was a flourishing lawyer, very well respected. Then he became an MLA at a very young age. And from 1957 to 59, he was a minister. He was the minister in the Kerala government. He headed the law ministry as well. Then in 1968, he was elevated to the Supreme Court, and he served the Supreme Court till 1975. So now, let us come to the larger message why I brought this. There are people who are stereotypes. They say, law or politics साथ साथ नहीं होनी चाहिए. Judges should maintain distance from politicians, should be aloof. And Honorable Justice Bhavar Singh ji would also agree with me that there is a code of the judges. Now, as a reformist, as a thinking individual, first thing in life is to not be afraid to voice your ideas. It's okay to be a rebel. वो कहते हैं ना, मंजिल मिल ही जाएगी, मंजिल मिल ही जाएगी, भटक कर ही सही, गुमराह तो वो है जो घर से निकले ही नहीं. So therefore, it's okay not to adhere to all the norms that society has put upon the members of society. And Justice Krishna Iyer, the first thing that an individual should learn from him is, if your own conscience is clear, if you are upright, if you are honest to the oath that you have taken under the Constitution, it doesn't matter whether you meet politicians or you don't meet them, you interact with anybody, because as is known by all, when you sit on the chair of a judge, and just 2 days back while hearing the Waqf Amendment Act being challenged before the Supreme Court, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Justice Sanjeev Khanna ji said something very beautiful. He said, I don't know my religion when I am sitting on this chair. The advocate said that because they are opposing to non-Muslims being included in the Waqf boards, therefore, if that is a problem, then Honorable the Chief Justice of India also can't hear this petition. He said, no. I am a judge of the Supreme Court. I am here to deliver justice. And my religion doesn't make any difference. So in case of Justice Krishna Iyer, it's in fact very healthy, because who legislates? It is the parliament, the assemblies, the politicians. And who interprets the law? It is the judiciary. Why should the judiciary not be able to freely exchange ideas, share their problems with the executive and the legislature to tell them this is what the judiciary and the people of the country need? It's a very healthy practice. And therefore, I think Justice Krishna Iyer's life sends out a very strong message that if you are honest, it doesn't matter. You can be a good politician and you can also be a good judge and a good lawyer. So there are no specific boundaries that you can't cross. You can do that. Second, the message from his life ought to be how he pioneered judicial activism. It was him who started the legal aid movement, and now it has a statutory complexion. In fact, people who do not have the resources to engage an advocate can approach the legal service authority, and in the Supreme Court in future days when you will be practicing in the High Court, Supreme Court or the trial court, you would see if there is a citizen who doesn't have the resources to engage a lawyer, the legal service authority ensures that nobody goes unrepresented. And that, I think, is the beauty of our democracy. But this novel idea stemmed from a brilliant mind like Justice Krishna Iyer, because he decided, I will not adhere to the norms of today's time. I have something bigger to achieve. And Justice Krishna Iyer ensured that Supreme Court is not only seen in pictures by the poor of the country. He said, I will not be subservient to the procedural aspects that you have to file a formal petition. He said that this Supreme Court should be accessible to every poor person as well. And along with Justice Bhagwati, he started entertaining even postcards and letters written to the Supreme Court, and thus evolved the public interest litigation. How beautiful a thought. Just think of it. When nobody dared, he not only dared, but he ensured that today, most of the important matters are heard under this jurisdiction of public interest litigation. Yes, there are norms set by the Honorable Supreme Court in various cases like Balwant Singh Shofal and others, where the Supreme Court has said that yes, we can examine the bona fides of the petitioner. They've gone to the extent of saying that we can also exclude the petitioner who has come before us with a cause, but we can still examine the cause if there is any other oblique motive of moving the Supreme Court or the High Court. But those rights that were created are still there, and I think that is the biggest tribute to people like Justice Krishna Iyer. Now, the famous cases, his contributions are immense. But every judge has a moral character which is sterling, which is worth even more than gold. And when Justice Krishna Iyer, it's a very short order, you must read it as well. The election of Indira Gandhi ji, when she was the Prime Minister, was challenged before the Allahabad High Court. And Allahabad High Court again showed that a judge is under no pressure, but he just imparts justice. They gave a judgment that Indira Gandhi ji indulged in corrupt practice, and thus she was disqualified as a member of parliament, and the result was she could not stay as the Prime Minister of the country. This was challenged before Justice Krishna Iyer, and in 1975, he is praised, admired and revered for not granting an absolute stay of that judgment. What he said was that she can continue as the Prime Minister, but not as a member of parliament. Now, you can imagine, and there are many tales that are there authored in various books also, that there was a lot of pressure on all judges who were hearing these sensitive matters. The then law minister tried to approach the judge also to have a cup of tea and discuss. But judges then, and even now I would say, are of such impeccable character that they only delivered justice and nothing else, and they were not afraid of the person who was before them. And that is the quality that as law students, you should also have: fearlessness, honesty to the profession, and if there is a holy book to be followed for a lawyer, it is the Constitution of our country. That should be the spirit with which we should move forward. Second again was the Maneka Gandhi case. It is a very famous case. Article 21 is the heart and soul of our fundamental rights as well as the Constitution. Now, Article 21 was interpreted to ensure that within the ambit, the right to life with liberty, live life with liberty, dignity, the right to have a passport, the right to travel, everything was included in this right by expanding the wording of Article 21. And this again is a landmark case. Now, there are many such cases, but I would not take you all through all of them. The spirit of what I'm trying to tell you is captured here. The spirit is that be loyal to the people of the country and to the Constitution. And judges, Honorable Justice Bhavar Singh ji would agree with me, when you become a High Court judge or a Supreme Court judge, you sacrifice a lot. You do it for the country. You tend to say, I would have less of a social life. You don't have the liberty like any other citizens to mingle with everyone freely, to be partying late night. Your family also has to remain in their boundaries when they are interacting with you. And this sacrifice is made by hundreds of High Court and Honorable Supreme Court judges because they love the country. They want to serve the people of the country. And I know of many lawyers who had flourishing practice, making lakhs and lakhs of rupees per month, some even crores. But they gave up that practice and they decided to be a judge of the Honorable Supreme Court and High Court only because they felt that there is no better feeling than to serve your country. And therefore, we must keep in mind that whether you are a lawyer, where you are the officer of the court, you have a duty towards the client, but your duty towards the court is higher than the duty that you have towards the client. And why do I say that? I'm saying this because at times there would be a judgment, there would be a law which would go against the interest of your client. And you are arguing the matter. But the judges who are sitting on the other side of the dais, they expect you to even cite the judgments that are against you, even cite the law which is against you, so that when they deliver a judgment, it is in consonance with the spirit of the Constitution and the law that has been put in question. Now, I don't think there can be a nobler profession than the profession of law. One reason is the one that I've given you, and the second, I would only think it would be second to people wearing not the black coats but the white coats. The profession of medicine, the doctors. Because these two professions, within the duties that are performed, have the power to give life to an individual. When death sentence is delivered, and I have seen sheer brilliance of many lawyers, to which I will come in the next part, how they argue a matter, and from a dead case, from a person who's to be dead, because he's been awarded capital punishment, they will bring to life that very case, and the death sentence or the capital punishment would be commuted to life sentence. There have been umpteen number of examples. And Justice Krishna Iyer, in fact, was a major advocate of seeing whether there are mitigating circumstances where a death penalty could be converted to a life sentence. So when I say this, I have come before you, as I said, as a family member. But it is important to share my experiences with you, which are of foremost importance. Books will teach you a lot. But what I am going to share with you is what I have seen in the Honorable Supreme Court and the High Court. Now, what are lawyers made up of? What kind of stuff is that? Why do they lead society? Why are they champions of human rights? So, there was a lawyer who was arguing a matter, and his clients were facing death penalty, as I just spoke about death penalty. While he was arguing, his assistant walks in and he gives a small slip to the advocate. The advocate looks at the slip, reads it, keeps it inside the pocket, and he continues to argue the matter. Then the lunchtime came, the Honorable Judge rose, and after the lunch they reassembled, and the lawyer again continued to argue and finished the arguments. So the Honorable Judge, after the arguments were over, respecting the lawyer, asked what happened that suddenly a chit came and you read, and then you looked a little disturbed. So I would want to know what happened. The lawyer remarked that my assistant just told me that my wife passed away. So the judge was like very surprised that your wife passed away, but you didn't leave. So he said that I can't bring my wife back to life. But these people who have been awarded death sentence can be saved from the noose. Such was the caliber, and I'm talking about a lawyer called Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Does it inspire you? It does. It gives you goosebumps. These are the kind of lawyers our country has seen. We all know about his political contributions to the country. How 565 princely states were amalgamated with sheer willpower of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the first deputy prime minister. But as a lawyer, if I believe in a cause, then I have to do justice to the case. The second was my own experience. I was new, I started practicing before the trial court in Lucknow. And it used to be very hot, perspiring, like any other young lawyer. A black coat after a few months used to turn white. There was no time to even get it dry cleaned. And the sweat was so much it used to turn white. My father taught me that if you really want to be a good lawyer, start from the trial court. And Justice Bhavar Singh ji would know that, the old premises, there was a tree. The only solace was being under the tree, no air conditioners, nothing. Then I moved to the High Court. When my father became the Advocate General, I moved to the Supreme Court. One day, today we see selfies. One day, I was entering the Honorable Chief Justice of India's court, and suddenly I see a man walking out, short-statured, very polite. 60, 70 young lawyers and interns quickly went to him. Sir, we want an autograph. No selfies those days. There were books, pens, and people taking autographs. Look at the kindness of this man. He stood there for, I think, 15, 20 minutes, signed every autograph book. Every autograph book. And then he lovingly said, "May all of you be brilliant lawyers," and he walked away. I'm talking about Mr. Ram Jethmalani ji. He was around 80 at that time, 78, 80. Now, the humility that he had, the hero that he was to so many people, again teaches a lesson that you may rise very high in life, but always be humble. Be full of humility like Justice Bhavar Singh ji, as I mentioned in the beginning of the program. Third, the duty towards the client and how you see your profession. A very recent matter was going on before the Honorable Supreme Court, a very important matter, I would say. There was a senior lawyer, aged around 90. He used to walk inside the courtroom to argue. He was selected amongst a few lawyers that were considered, and he was thought to be the best. Every time he used to come and argue, he used to take his shoes off, stand there, and at the age of 90, argue for 4-5 hours every day, for many days. The verdict was delivered. It was delivered in his favor, if I may say so. The case was the famous case of Ram Janmabhoomi, Ram Mandir case. And this lawyer that I am talking about is the former Attorney General for India, Mr. K. Parasaran ji. When he was asked why did he take his shoes off, so he said that I have been blessed by God. I am not worthy of defending God who is blessing me. But out of reverence, I couldn't place the arguments wearing shoes. Now, this I shared with you to learn the piousness, the dedication towards the cause that he had. That is very important. The next point, are we all gifted? Are we all born to be lawyers? And is there a fixed rule that if you are gifted, then you will be a better, successful lawyer? What do you have to say, all of you? Is it the gift of the gab or the hard work and the tenacity that determines how good a lawyer would you be? Please tell me. Anybody? Very, I think morning breakfast has been missed by all of you. So is it the hard work or the gift of the gab? Hard work. Good. So now I'm reassured that, everybody is listening also and the energy is back in the room. A brilliant student, topped always, and he started his practice. And he would have been a great lawyer if it was only about his intellect, hard work, and understanding of law. But there was a small twist. There was a handicap. The handicap was that the lawyer stammered. He was afraid to face the judges, the fear of speaking in public. So his father advised him, his seniors told him, don't be an arguing lawyer. You draft, you join a company, become a legal advisor to some big corporate house. You can't succeed as a lawyer. So he said, I take it up as a challenge. I want to argue my matters. That's the passion I have, and that is the reason why I joined the profession. He started practicing before the mirror. He started rehearsing his arguments. The words that he used to fumble with, he started repeating again and again. And by sheer willpower, if I was to say he became one of the best lawyers in the country, I would not be wrong. I'm talking about late Nani Palkiwala ji. A lawyer who is considered the best ever. If somebody would even come close, would be H.M. Sirvai ji. We read his constitutional law. But Nani Palkiwala ji was the one who overcome his handicap to be the most brilliant lawyer that we have seen. Now, one more example I cite for a reason, and then we'll discuss some other aspects. I was mentioning the case of Ram Jethmalani ji. There's one more thing why he was so brilliant. When he obtained his law degree, he was not even a major. He had not attained the age of 18. So we all know that a wakalatnama has to be filed and a lawyer has to be authorized. So he was 17, and because of his brilliance, a client approached him. Now he could not have represented the client because the Bar Council rules at that time did not permit. So he was so sharp, he went to the Chief Justice of the High Court there, who had the power to even make an exception, and he said, when I joined the legal profession, these rules did not specify that I had to be above 18 years of age to plead my first case. And therefore, I can't be put in such a situation where something was not known to me when I chose this profession. So, the Chief Justice felt that the young person had a very important point to make, a good case. And as an exception, Mr. Ram Jethmalani ji was allowed to take his first case even when he had not attained the age of 18. And he argued that very well. This shows that you have to sometimes go beyond the regular boundaries. Think afresh. Think like nobody else has. And a lawyer is a lawyer, whether it comes to a citizen's right or his own right or society's right at large. This was Ram Jethmalani ji. Now, There's something close to my heart which I would like to share. I know of a lawyer who was to appear for an exam called the Advocate on Record exam. All of you, if you practice in the Supreme Court rules prescribe an exam that you have to clear and write, and then you are notified to be an advocate on record. Now, what is an advocate on record? In the Supreme Court, only an advocate on record can file a case. Nobody else is authorized. A senior advocate can argue. A senior advocate cannot file a wakalatnama, but is to be assisted by an advocate on record. A non-advocate on record can argue the case, but not file. So there was a lawyer in the Supreme Court who was to appear in the advocate on record exam. And now, just before the exam, 10 days before the exam, this advocate on record to be lost his father. His friend, and we see all lawyers have a lot of friends as well. This lawyer had a friend who was also planning to appear for the advocate on record exam. Now, when the first lawyer lost his father, he said that I am not in a position, not in the frame of mind to actually appear and write this exam, so you continue. The friend, trying to be a true friend, said, no, let's miss this time. We will appear the next time together. So the person who was to appear, the first person, A person, he said, give me time, I'll get back to you. After 2 days, he reflected and he got back to his friend. He said, let's study together. And for 7 days, they studied together. Both of them appeared for the exam. After 5 months, the advocate on record results are declared after 5 months. Both of them cleared the exam and they became advocate on record. Now, the person I am narrating the example of is standing before you giving this lecture. And the reason why I share this is for a purpose, not to highlight my achievement, but to tell you that in adversity also lies an opportunity. I loved my father like anybody else would. He is the inspiration I have. The toughest time that I have seen is that. But I asked myself, what will be the real tribute to my father? And the answer that came to me was, clear the exam. And my friend is also an advocate on record. God has been kind. After becoming an advocate on record, I was designated as a senior advocate by the Supreme Court. So these examples that I brought to you was for a purpose, and I asked the director, what level of students am I interacting with? First year, second year, third year? They said first year. So I have some other topics as well, but I thought this was the most important topic that I need to touch with you. To give you dreams that you would be chasing all your life. I have to make it worth it. I have to tell you the power and the responsibility that comes with the black coat. And when I cite this example, or many others that I have cited, I have told you how every lawyer has an innate, indomitable quality. And that is why we have seen the likes of Ram Jethmalani ji, Nariman ji, and Soli Sorab ji, and many others. I have worked with all of them. They were brilliant, no doubt. But there were other qualities also that ensured that they become successful advocates as well as successful citizens of the country. And that should be the aim of every lawyer who is present here. Now, having said that, you are all aware that sometimes you set dreams, and those dreams people say are impossible to chase. There will come an opportunity in your life. Should you be a status quoist, or should you take that opportunity even at the cost of a slight risk? So then I'm always reminded of the words of William Shakespeare. And he very famously said, "There is a tide in the affairs of men." There is a tide in the affairs of men. And when I say men, it includes women as well. So it is gender neutral. There is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Omitted, rest of the voyage of their life is spent in miseries and sorrows. If there is an opportunity, you have to grab it. If you have an opportunity, don't be afraid that I'm doing X job, I might lose this also. It's okay. Sometimes failures are the foundation of larger, bigger success, and you have to grab that opportunity. Another quality that should be there is being fearless. You have to voice your opinion. And I brought in this quote. I don't like to read, I like to make my lectures extempore with what I feel and what I've learned. But this quote is so brilliant, I lack the capacity to even miss a word or change a word. So I will quote it as it is, and it is from H.M. Sirvaiji. Please listen to it carefully. I'm sure that it would become part of your study table. Please place it before yourself to read it and follow it in your life. I realize that some of my criticisms may be mistaken. I realize that some of my criticisms may be mistaken. But to refuse to criticize judgments for fear of being mistaken is to abandon criticism altogether. Now, this is the most beautiful part. If any of my criticisms are found to be correct, the cause is served. If any of the criticisms are found to be correct, the cause is served. And if any are found to be incorrect, the very process of finding out my mistakes must lead to the discovery of the right reasons or better reasons than I have been able to give. And the cause is served just as well. So it is so beautiful, so profound, that when you question, either you solve a problem or you motivate others who don't agree with you to find better reasons than the reasons that you are giving. That in any case, the problem is solved, the purpose is served, and with a better cause. Such are the thoughts which inspire us and should take us forward. And having shared my thoughts with you on Justice Krishna Iyer, how to be an excellent lawyer but a better citizen of our country, how to remember that yes, 90% of the people are talking about fundamental rights. A citizen, and especially a lawyer, should be aware of fundamental duties. You can ask for your right, but first also possess the power to deliver your duties towards the country. That is very important. And people generally don't even look at the fundamental duties. They say, it is my right to do this. Yes, it is your right. But where is your duty to do certain acts for the betterment of the country? That has to be kept in mind. And I would end by saying, I've come here, you people are law students right now. In future, I leave with the faith in your ability, leadership, your commitment towards the field of law and to the country, that in this room I know, Honorable Justice Bhavar Singh Ji is looking at me, I know for a fact that future Chief Justice of India would come from this room. I know for a fact that a future law minister will come from this very room. There will be scores of people who will become the High Court judges. There would be Attorney Generals for India coming from this room. There will be Advocate Generals of the state coming from this room. Because when you dream, I request you not to dream small, but to dream as if there is no tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Moving further, our keen students in the audience have questions today. With your due permission, sir, we would like to request an interaction session and invite questions from the audience. If you have any, you may please raise your hands and our team will pass the mics.
Very good afternoon, sir. First, I'm Angel, first year law student, and thank you so much for coming and gracing our event with your presence. So my question is that as an individual with a distinguished career in both political and legal arenas, how have you successfully balanced these two fields?
I would say with a lot of hard work, and thank you for your kind words. I hope this lecture was meaningful. It would resonate with all of you. I must tell you one thing, that it is a choice that an individual makes. When I entered the profession, I was told by everyone, including Justice Bhavar Singh ji, that this profession is a jealous mistress. You have to study for 16 hours, sleep for 4 hours, balance your life, you also have a family. And then when I met very accomplished politicians, my father was also a member of the parliament. Many politicians told me that being in politics is a full-time job. You'll not be able to sleep, there will be people knocking at your door late at night, and you wouldn't have time for your family. So ask my better half, my wife, she has to deal with two jealous mistresses. One is law and the other is politics. But how have I handled it? I'll tell you the secret. I know for a fact for the first 2 decades in my profession and in politics, while others were sleeping, I was working. There have been nights where if a case is listed before the Honorable Supreme Court, I burned the midnight oil, and when I say I burned the midnight oil, it means I've been up the whole night, and then straight away I've gone to the court to argue matters. And if I make a choice of having law and politics in my life, I cannot have an excuse inside the courtroom that just because I was participating in a TV debate, I'm less prepared. My competition or my duty towards the client is that I have to be at my best. And when I'm in a discussion on television or I'm participating in a program given to me by my party, the Bharatiya Janata Party, I cannot have a reason that I was up the whole night preparing for a case. Therefore, I can't address the audience well. So if you make a choice, be ready to then work equally hard and ensure that you don't compromise on the quality of anyone and you are at your best. But in the long run, the advantage is this, I'll tell you, and I tell all my juniors and interns who come to my office. Sometimes when I give them research for a political debate, and political debates also have legal aspects to it, the junior would not be as enthusiastic as he would be when he's preparing a case, and vice versa. Some people are more enthusiastic about preparing points on a debate than on a brief. So I tell them that in law, you don't know what reading would help you when. Whatever you read makes you more knowledgeable. It gives you a wider perspective to the issue. And sometimes what we prepare in a debate helps me in a legal case, and what we do in a legal case helps me in a political debate. So there is a lot of merging for a lawyer and a politician. And I think constitution, parliament, and judiciary being common, you are gifted by God to serve mankind and your country. And this is the way I look at it. Thank you.
First of all, very good afternoon, sir. We all are very glad that you could join us here and deliver such an amazing lecture.
So my question is, what are the legal hurdles that exist in India in regulating AI content?
So, thank you so much for your kind words. It's been an honor to be with all of you. AI is a field which is still evolving. And I must share with you, in one of a very famous law college, the topic itself a year back was, evolution of law and AI. So there have been the plus side of it, but there has also been the negatives of it. And when you talk about regulation, regulation will come when we have an enactment, when we have clarity of law, which is still developing right now. So we have to see how quickly we can have a law which will govern the field of AI and then ensure that it is not misused, but it furthers the cause of imparting justice to every citizen. What is the positive side? The positive side, I think, pertains to the research, the drafting. A lot of young interns and lawyers, rather than drafting themselves, have already started relying on ChatGPT and other AI tools. But to that, I would definitely say that there is nothing like drafting yourself. When I wrote the Advocate on Record exam that I just mentioned, we used to have blank sheets or a register. And there are various types of petitions that are to be filed before the Supreme Court. There is a paper called drafting paper. So we used to write every pro forma of that petition, maybe 20, 30, 40 times, so that a word is not wrong when you are actually drafting it. And no AI can teach you that. It has to be within your brain. The most powerful intelligence tool that you will ever have is your own brain. Rely on it heavily. It will never compromise your strength. On the other side, if there is an advantage of research, research is generally very good. If somebody wants to improve the language, I think an AI tool acts as a friend, as a mentor, as a guide. Because then you can get a lot of inputs from AI and you can work on your language. The flip side is there are judgments also, if I'm not mistaken. A high court of the country just saw an impugned judgment that was challenged before it, that there were judgments cited in an judgment which was impugned, which never existed. So what AI does is, AI assimilates data. So say tomorrow if you write a fictitious paper and you create a judgment of DME College versus Shilpa, and the AI is able to pick that up, not knowing whether it is there in a journal or a digest, it will pick it up and create a judgment. So that judgment which was impugned basically was AI generated, and factually it wasn't correct. So I think if we use it as a tool, it will help us. But if we become dependent on it without exercising our own intelligence, then it would be a handicap. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. My name is Pranavir Singh, and I want to ask you a question that if you said that there is a stereotype that a lawyer cannot be indulged in any other activity, but didn't you think that it is against professional ethics and against the fundamental duty of a lawyer?
First of all, I'm just wondering where your white shirt is, because I see most of the people in white shirt. But having said that, on a lighter note, you look very handsome in your blue shirt as well. I must tell you that I never said that, a lawyer cannot be intelligent. The point that I was trying to make was that some people are gifted with extraordinary brilliance or intelligence. Some people have to work towards being a good lawyer through sheer hard work. And it is always said that brilliance or success is also 1% of intelligence and 99% of perspiration. How hard can you work? So, to answer your question, I would say that whether you are average, below average, or gifted, doesn't matter. If your will is strong, you're willing to work hard, you will be successful in the field of law. That much I can assure you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We are very honored that sir could join us here today. I request our Director General, sir, to felicitate our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, sir, with a token of our appreciation and gratitude. With this, we move to the end of the event. I would like to invite Professor Dr. Rajendra Kaur Randhawa Ma'am, Head, DME Law School, Noida, to conclude the event by delivering the vote of thanks. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Prachi. Our worthy chief guest for today, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court. Honorable Justice Bhavar Singh, Director General, DME. Professor Ravikant Swamy, Director, DME. Faculty members, and my dear students. It's my privilege and honor to present the vote of thanks for this prestigious event. And first of all, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Gaurav Bhatia to spare his valuable time to address our students. It is really, we are really grateful, sir, to you that you're enlightening our students with your experiences, your insights, which are very valuable, and students must imbibe all these experiences shared today in their daily lives, in their respective fields, further when they will be going to become judges, become advocates, practicing in high courts, Supreme Courts. And then my sincere thanks to our Director General, sir, Mr. Justice Bhavar Singh ji, for always being there as a mentor, as a guide, and for always his support with us, immense support with us, and guiding us throughout the other events, other daily activities. Thank you so much, sir. I'm also thankful to our Director, sir, Professor Ravikant Swamy ji, for always his immense support and valuable inputs from time to time. My special vote of thanks to all the student volunteers, the entire team of Special Events Committee, who have really worked hard, tirelessly to make this program a grand success, and your hard work and dedication are deeply appreciated. Thanks to our dedicated administrative staff and support staff team for their hard work behind the scenes has been instrumental in ensuring that everything ran smoothly. To all the attendees, thank you for your participation, for your contributing to the vibrant discussion that followed the lecture. And lastly, when we are concluding this event, let us carry forward the insights gained and strive to implement them in our daily lives and our professional practice, professional ethics. Together we can build a more just and transparent society. Thank you once again to everyone who had contributed to the success of this event. Thank you very much. Thank you.